Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to another Paul Master video. So later tonight, when the reset happens, the SS Brandon banner will be dropping in game. So as usual, make sure y'all are subscribing notifications on because we will be pulling Ram live, and hopefully it goes as well as the SS May one, because the SS May polls went very well, which I am relatively happy about. So anyways, let's talk a bit about this unit, right? So I feel like in terms of like, oh, if you should summon for this unit, right? I think most things that I've said for Dojo Gloria and what I've said for SS May generally apply to SS Brandon as well, right? I'd say all three of them are you know, top tier units in of themselves. It's just that the timing is a bit awkward, right? Although, you know, it is, the Hoenn arc did begin yet, but we haven't. Here's the thing: I don't think we've seen the biggest Hoenn arc unit yet. I don't think we've seen the big surprise or big powerful, you know, the ultimate Hoenn arc unit. We haven't seen the Lucas of the Hoenn arc yet. We haven't seen the SS Lyra, SS Chris of the Hoenn arc yet. Although you could sort of compare Latios to SS Chris, although I do think SS Chris is a bit better, right? If you do want to compare those two, but still, you know, obviously Latios is very nice as well, and we'll talk about Latios, right? But anyways, that aside, let's talk about the unit first, I guess, before we go too much into all that stuff. So it's a support. It's a very good support, right? It's a special support. I'd say it's one of the, you know, top special supports in the game. I'd say easily, you know, in terms of like a full like special support, I'd say probably top 3, right? If not top 5 special support in the game. He does remind me a lot of like a special version of Sonya and Yamper, which he does trade some of the speed, and I guess Sonya does have an easier time of maxing offensive buffs, right? He can max offense buffs too, but it's just not as easy as Sonya would, right? But he does trade that in for much better special defensive debuffs, right? So he's a special support that crushes the opponent's special defense, right? So even though, like, if you are missing, like, for example, if you compare it to, like, a regular support that, you know, maybe doesn't, or special support that doesn't debuff special defense, like, Poltegeist, right? Lily Poltegeist, which is a very good support, right? Nothing against Lily Poltegeist, but, you know, yeah, she does max out your special attack stat, but she doesn't really debuff the opponent's, you know, special defense, right? At least that effectively, I guess you can if you like skill and stuff. But like the value that you get, generally, obviously, it varies. Some stages might have higher mitigation, but generally, the value that you get from debuffing the opponent's special defense, right, is definitely higher than the value you get out of going from +4 special attack to like +6 special attack, right? Because again, without MP refresh, he can only give you +4 special attack, right? Which is definitely, you know, a part that he doesn't do as well. But also, again, most offensive units in this game at least can buff, you know, their own special attack by 2, right? I mean, there really aren't that many units. It's like Lance, right? That's like the big one. And there might be like a few more attacks here and there, right? I guess the the other one's like Mewtwo in terms of strikers, and then like for like tags, it's just like there's a lot of like like a lot of techs that like initially weren't designed as damage dealers that don't have it, like stuff like Pelipper, right? When it first came out without the grid, it wasn't really designed to be a damage dealer, so you know, have stuff. But there's also like, I think SS Leaf, I feel like this is the big tech one. SS Misty, and I think that's kind of about it, right? I remember like the relevant ones, like Will, I guess, but like Will, you're also, you know, stealing like stats from the opponent, so you could also go like that way. But so point being, yes, he doesn't max out, you know, fully +6 special attack, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. There's probably not even over 5 or 10 like relevant units in the game that actually care, right? So yeah, even though this is definitely, you know, a one downside, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's that big of a deal. So yeah, again, it like the value that he brings from this unexpected benefit too, where every Luster Purge, right, guaranteed -2 special defense on the opponent, is just much better. Also, not to, you know, mention, he also has special move up next, right, for the team as well. Guaranteed 2 special move up next, which is, you know, what everyone praised Suicune for, because Suicune's special move up next, also very, very, very powerful, right? Suicune, if you do have, you know, what, 3 out of 5 Suicune, you'll have guaranteed 3, and then over here, even at 1 out of 5, Latios would have 2, right? So that is also really, really nice. And then after you Mega, you sort of solve your other issue, which is gauges, because your speed is not very high, and you are a unit hitting 3 gauge moves. You do solve that a bit with Revenge 9, so every time the opponent hits you, you get a free move for Latios, which is nice if they hit you. If they don't, then it's not nice, right? Because you need them to hit you for it to trigger. Thankfully, the opponents in this game generally like hitting people a lot. Thankfully. So yeah, you also have potions. You are a relatively good tank, especially on the special defensive end, right? Although physical defense, it's not like bad either. It's 3 or 4. Physical defense is not bad. Also, if you do grid them, you do have stuff like Team Tough Lock that, you know, could also help you buff your defense. And in your training move, you also have special defense buffs for your team as well, right? +4. And you also have this 1 free move next thing for your team, which is cool, I guess, right? You have Adrenaline if you really want, you know, to skip the quad Q thing, or at least achieve the effect without, you know, the RNG chance of your finger tapping maybe a bit too slow or whatever, right? In places where it is applicable. So yeah, there's that. Anything else? You do have Fast Track 9, which does buff your speed, which does help combat your relatively, like, 270. 270 speed isn't like even like 270 would be like actually solid speed if this was like 2 years ago. But yeah, 270 speed like nowadays is not that great. But it's just that like other units are getting much like faster. It's not like the move gauge just charges slower now anymore. I mean, it's still the same move gauge, like the way like how move gauge is calculated is still the same. Not that we exactly know how to calculate it, but anyways, right? You also have Team Sharp entry over here at again 3 out of 5, so he is a max crit buffer, right? I see a lot of people saying, oh, you can't max out crit. Wrong, he can max out crit. He is a max crit buffer. He has +1 crit over here, +1 crit over here. If you Mega with him, it activates again, +3 crit, right? With EX support, so you get EX support and +3 crit, and then if you get, you know, pick up Adrenaline over there, right, as well, you also get the countdown stuff, which is very, very nice. So yeah, his support EX is very, very, very powerful, right? Definitely very, very powerful. And yeah, that's I guess there's also free sync for all if you want that on your support EX as well. Although I don't think you could really. Can you afford it? Can you afford all 3? I highly doubt you can. Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, I don't care too much about this free sync for all personally. I do feel like these two are generally a bit more useful, right? A bit more useful, but yeah, his grid has like one really big thing, and then a bunch of other things that are nice to have, right? But also not like incredibly necessary. So that's in terms of if you are trying to pull for other copies. 1 out of 5. Precognition 2, which if you're running in Psych Train, cool, that's nice, right? Although if you are running him in Psych Train with Anime, who also, you know, in Psych Train doesn't cost gauges anyways, and then you're on the other hand, every time you get hit, you also cost no gauges, it's not that big of a deal, because that team probably will not have any gauge issues. Then you have more gauge stuff, Luster Purge MP Refresh, and then obviously you have some power-ups over here, right? So yeah, nothing too much at 1 out of 5. 2 out of 5, you actually do have some good stuff. Fast Track 9 is definitely very good, right? Quick Cure is very good as well. You got your MP Refresh on your trainer move, Hostile Environment on Dragon Breath, and you got 1 Master Heal on Potion and 1 MP Refresh on Potion, right? And then 3 out of 5, again, you get the big Team Sharp entry over here, Head Start, Adrenaline, Team Tough Luck for defense buffs, Impervious, Free Sync for all. These 2 I don't really care too much about, but I mean, in certain scenarios, obviously Impervious could be very useful. Obviously in certain, you know, legendary arenas that they debuff the absolute crap out of you at like every hit, that would definitely help. and then you get your second set of Master Healer and Potion MP Refresh. So yeah, I would say his 3 out of 5 is definitely very, very much, I wouldn't say necessary, but it would be very, 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 very nice to have just for the max crit buffs, right? Or else, again, +1 crit buffs. It could work for certain units. It also doesn't work for certain other units, right? So I do think his 3 out of 5 is pretty good. His 2 out of 5 is not bad either, right? Like if you pull Latios, doesn't matter how many copies you get. Any copies you get of Latios is good, right? But then, all right, units very, very, very good. Again, one of the top special supports in the game. Is it worth pulling at the moment? I'd give it a similar score, I'd say, to SS May and such. It's probably still a 7.5 out of 10. For free-to-play players, obviously, if you are a whale, this is definitely a very, very good unit to spend your gems on, right? But if you are free-to-play, right, do keep in mind that, again, this banner, it is going to be around for a while. It's going to be around for a while. It will be around for however long it is until we know what either one of the two things. Well, one thing is for certain is the anniversary units. We will know what the anniversary units are, right, before his banner goes away, and we will know, well, we might know, right? Again, it depends on where they put part 2 of the Hoenn-Villenark, but there's a very, very good chance we will know what the Hoenn-Villenark Part 2 units are, which, again, could potentially have the big guy in it, right? We'll talk about who that big guy could be in a separate video, but for the moment being, I just don't want to spoil people if they haven't read the story on all that stuff. But also read the story; it's really, really good. Yeah, that's I guess my evaluation for Latios. Obviously, it's a Pokefair support. Not a single Pokefair support in the game has been bad. I mean, all the Pokefair supports in the game have been top tier. Even if you look at probably the weakest one, which is what? Let's see, Ingo, Cresselia, SS Blue, SS Morty, SS Brandon, probably SS Blue, right? Even like the weakest one, like SS Blue, is still very, very, very much fantastic support, right? So yeah, he's great, fantastic unit, but again, I'd probably hold on gems right now, like especially if you're one of those who really, really want Brandon and May. I mean, if you really, 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 really want, then sure, go for it, right? I mean, I'm not stopping anyone for pulling for favorite characters, but I do feel like there could be a solid chance that in the future, if they do rerun, right, these Pokefairs, that solid chance that they'll rerun SS May and SS Brandon on the same banner, right? I think there's definitely a solid chance that they could do that, and if it does come to that, then if it's like a 1.5% each, then that would be really, really nice. But there's also a slight chance that if we get like a Wally alter or whatever, in the future they'll like rerun May, Brendan, and Wally. And like if you just really don't want Wally for some reason, which if you hate Wally, wow. I'm not saying you're a terrible person, but I just don't know what kind of person would actually actively hate Wally. Anyways, point being, like, then that may be just like a slightly lower percentage chance of getting Brendan, because it's probably like a, I don't know. They have done like 1% double banners before, so who knows? But if they do like a triple and it's like 1%, 3%, then that's obviously a massive W. But if it's like 1.5% delivery run, that's also pretty good as well, right? So we'll have to see, right? So anyways, that's me this one, I guess. Hope y'all enjoyed, guys. Think in the comments down below. Like the videos from my channel for more Pokemon content, all that stuff. Have fun, folks. Again, we're gonna be streaming this live later tonight. Tune in. It's gonna be fun, and I'll see you guys next one then.